And in this video, we live. We're gonna be talking about government contracts. I'm not gonna be on here all night, but I do want to talk about government contracts because I recently completed a government contracting class. It was really a class to get your FAC C, which is a certification to be a contract officer. I just thought it was going to be a good class for me to learn about government contracts. It's really an in-depth view of the FAR. That's basically what you kind of, at least what we cover in the first class. And I'm pretty sure the class is more than just about the FAR, but the first class was really more so about the FAR. So it's like four classes that you got to go through in order to get your FAC-C certification. And so basically the FAR, if you don't know what the FAR is basically the Federal Acquisition Regulation. So it's the regulation that governs the FAR. Now, for accountants out there like myself, I actually thought the FAR I thought it was the FAR that we would have to know for for sitting for the CPA, but it's a completely separate situation altogether. Um, so this the FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulation, is basically the regulation that governs government contracts, what needs to be in there, what the rules are, and things like that. It's the regulation. It regulates, right? And so there's different types of FARs. I learned so much in this class, man. It's a fascinating class. If you get an opportunity to take a class on the FAR for the as far as the Federal Acquisition Regulation, definitely worth taking time to go through that if you plan on doing government contracts, which could be a long-term plan for me. It more than likely will be at some point in time in my life. I probably will go back into government contracts. So just thought it would be a good thing to kind of like learn about. And I was right. I was actually surprised that I learned so much. If you've been following me and seen some of the things that I've done or covered on this channel, you'll know that I've gone through the VIP course, which is the Veterans in Procurement. So I've gone through that, and they have multiple levels. So I went through the first level of it. They have different versions. There's VIP Start, VIP Grow, VIP International, VIP something else. But each level, you keep going higher and higher. And they have different requirements that you have to have in order to go to those different variations of those VIP courses. But I will say that even though I learned a lot in the VIP course, by the way, if you guys can hear me, please get in the chat and just give me a thumbs up or just say loud and clear or something, because I'm not even sure if you guys can hear me right now. I'm talking through the mic, or at least I hope I am, but I'm not sure if it's coming across without anybody just saying, thumbs up. But so the VIP course was unbelievable, unbelievable. If you're a veteran and you have a small business, please go check out the VIP course if you can afford the time. It's a free class. You only have to pay for your flight there or your travel there. So if you got to drive there, fly there, that's all you got to pay for. Lodging is covered, so is food while you're there, at least for you. Now, if you come with somebody else, then the food isn't covered for them, but lodging is covered for you while you're there, and the food is free. It feels like you're back in the military, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so it's an amazing course, well ran. They bring in CEOs from large companies who've also, those CEOs have either gone through the VIP course or they're sponsors of the VIP course. And there's some very powerful companies that support that program. And so I went through that, and I will say that the FAR class was was absolutely better, I guess you could say, for for actually trying to win a government contract. There's a lot of information that's packed into the VIP course, and it goes fast. But I'd say that this class that I took was far better in my understanding of how to put a contract together, or what should go into a contract. So, you'll see a contract on like sam.gov or something. It'll say looking for this set aside. So, like, it could be total small business. It could even be partial small business. It could be woman owned small business. It could be service disabled veteran owned small business. Whatever it is, they have these set asides. And I understood set asides, but I didn't still fully know how you can use the set asides. And I believe the VIP did mention it, but this class went further in depth on like just how you can use it according to the FAR. And it also discussed just more intimately, like looking at contracts versus just information, like packed with information. Like it's like saying, like, so the VIP class was like, you can use this resource, you can use this resource, you can go to your OSDBU, you can go to the SBA for this, you can reach out to this section at this company for this. It was very instrumental as far as like giving that kind of information, but yet and still, it still was not. It was not as it didn't it when you leave well when I left VIP, I still did not feel like I could pretty much just go out, find a contract, and I could probably bid on it with a lot of certainty that I knew what I was doing. And this course, even though we just talked about the FAR, it just answered so many questions for me. So yeah, I definitely felt a lot more confident. And then it's four more classes. I mean, it's three more classes. It's a total of four classes in order to sit for the FAC-C certification. And after this first class, I felt like, man, I'm pretty sure I can just jump on sam.gov and know what I'm doing. Like, not necessarily just know how to navigate sam.gov, but I had a lot better understanding of what should be in a contract. Okay, so government contracts, if you haven't been, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but it is to me the best, most lucrative opportunity that one could have from a small business perspective. And I just wanted to talk about, I want to say this at this point in this video. The views expressed in this video are entirely my own. They are not connected to any kind of government agency or anything like that. So they're my own perspective. So I believe that government contracts is the best opportunity for small businesses. The government pretty much buys everything, T-shirts, bottles, water, food, cars, planes, houses, you name it, the government pretty much buys it. Lysol, bleach, whatever you can think of, they buy it, right? And then they buy it in bulk. They buy it more than you would buy it for your household or your neighborhood, So the government buys pretty much everything. And so government contracts is just the vehicle to sell your goods or services to the government. And the government has set asides. And set asides are basically contracts that are set aside to go to particular groups of small businesses. And so you have simplified acquisition, you have opportunities for just purchase card or micro contracts. And then, of course, you just have your regular, large, competitive contracts. So what we should be focusing on as a small business, I would say, would be micro contracts. Excuse me. Micro contracts and simplified acquisition contracts. So I want this to be clear for you guys, okay? As a matter of fact, I should have titled this video Rule of Two. As a matter of fact, I might just go on a whole rampage of conversation about the rule of two. Okay. By the way, can you guys hear me? I see a couple of you guys on here. Nobody yet has told me whether or not you guys can hear me clearly. I don't know. I have no idea because I can't hear myself through this. So please, somebody get in the chat and drop a $sign, drop a thumbs up, uh, message loud and clear, something. Just give me some kind of sign you guys can hear me. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the rule of two, but the rule of two may be my new thing. That may be my new thing because it is that important. I need people to really understand this thing, okay? And that's from not just a person. Thank you. Who's that? Somebody just gave me a thumbs up. The real Dunn Watt. Appreciate you, brother, for sure. So the rule of two. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the rule of two, but it is very, very important. Very, very important. Also, there's just some information I just want to cover from the class. Okay, let me pull up my. I took a picture. I got a board and I wrote stuff on the board. Just things that I definitely wanted to share with you guys. Uh, okay, okay, all right, all right. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so for simplified acquisition, right? For simplified acquisition, for products and services up to $250,000 can be awarded using simplified acquisition. Simplified acquisition means basically the most simplest way that the government can acquire goods and services. So there's seven set asides, I guess you can call them, ways that you can get government contracts. Okay. Well, as a small business, like small business set asides or just set asides in general, but basically small business set asides. So one would be like total small business, where they can set aside contracts for any small business, basically. Anybody who's considered a small business under your NAICS code, they can set this contract aside for just that group of people. That's one. SDVOSB, which is Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business. That is a set aside. So if you're a disabled veteran or a veteran owned small business, you can just be a veteran. You don't have to be a service disabled veteran. But if you're a disabled veteran or if you're just a veteran, those are two separate set asides. They can set contracts to the side for that purpose. I don't know if I said woman-owned small business, but woman-owned small business is one. 8A certification. I've definitely talked about 8A on this channel before. 8A certification is another one. But so there's, like I said, there's seven different ways that they can set aside contracts. And for goods or services up to $250,000, so the contract amount can be up to $250,000. They can use simplified acquisition for those contracts that are non-commercial. Non-commercial. Okay. So commercial, based off of at least what I understand from the instruction of from this class about the FAR, non-commercial would mean that it would be something that only the government pretty much buys. It wouldn't be something that would be generally on the market. I'm gonna continue. So for so they we can so the government can use simplified acquisition for contracts up to 7.5 million, up to 7.5 million for commercial goods or services. And so commercial goods or services are pretty much anything that can be bought on the commercial market. The government buys things, the same things from the commercial market that would be on the commercial market. And that could be cleaning. So if you can clean a house or if you can clean an office building and the government pays for you to clean their facility, that would be considered still commercial because it's available on the open market, right? So if you have laptops for sale, that is commercial. Unless that laptop has been specifically ordered, built, and created only for the government, nobody else uses it, it would classify as commercial. Okay, so this is important because you can do simplified acquisition up to 7.5 million. Up to 7.5 million, you can use simplified acquisition. The reason why this is important is because of the rule of two. Okay? So let me explain the rule of two. Because, like I said, I think this is going to be my thing. I need everybody to know this. I need everybody to utilize this who's interested in doing government contracts or who has any dealings with government contracts in general. Okay? So the rule of two says as long as two small businesses are available and the contractor feels at least one of the contractors will give a fair price, they can use simplified acquisition and award that contract without having to go on to sam.gov or post the job publicly. So understand, as long as there's at least two contractors that can provide that good or service, the government, the contract officer, can award that contract without it even being posted to the general market, to sam.gov, to any of the other websites they may use. They don't even have to post that job to the world for competition. As long as they have two contractors, two small businesses who fall in that, who said, hey, I can do that job, and they're willing to submit a bid, and the contracting officer believes that the proposal will at least be fair, is at least a fair price, they can use simplified acquisition. Okay. Now I know you guys hearing this and you're like, I don't get it. Right. Now hold on. There's also a rule of three. So the rule of three says if there's at least three contractors who the contracting officer has, there's no need to be certain of fair pricing by one of the companies, because now you have three separate companies bidding. You no longer have to try to find out if or ensure that it's fair pricing, right? Because with the rule of two, you will still need to make sure that this is a fair price. You will need to double check. Hold on, is this a fair price? But with three contractors bidding for it, you don't have to be certain that it's fair pricing because you have three opportunities. So basically, the rule of two is if you have two contractors that the contracting officer knows, hey, I have a construction project that's $6 million. I got a construction project that's $6 million, and I know two small businesses. I know two women-owned small businesses that do construction. According to the NAICS code, they do construction. I got two women-owned small businesses. I can just call them up and say, as a contracting officer, this is what they can do. They can just say, hey, I have this construction project. It's $6 million. $6 million. Are you interested in submitting a bid for it? Yes, I'm interested. And the other person says they're interested. They submit their they submit their proposals. And as long as at least one of them, just one, is based off of the contracting officer's perspective, if they feel that they got a fair price by at least one of them, they can award that contract to them. I don't know if you guys know how powerful this is. I don't know. I don't know if you get it, but this is such a powerful opportunity, right? The reason why is because one of those contractors could be completely ridiculous, right? Now, let's say one of those contractors is like, look, I know you said 6 million. I can do this for the 6 million. Well, maybe the contracting officer doesn't tell them how much. Maybe he's like, I can go up to 6 million. He knows he can go up to 6 million. And one of them say, hey, I can do it for 6 million. And the other one says, well, I can do it, not knowing what each other is saying. But they assess it. They say, you know what? I can do it for I can do it for 4.2 million. This doesn't require 6 million if I do it, right? Now, the fair price could either be the 6 or it could be the 4, right? But the contracting officer just has to feel like this is a good price. Both of them could have came in around 6 million. And the contract officer could have said, okay, that's a fair price. Now we got to go into a little bit more of a discussion. But somebody could have said, I need 8 million. I need 7 million for that. That would still be inside of the 7.5 million. So that could still qualify as a simplified acquisition. But maybe the contracting officer says, you know what, the one that's at 6, that's fair to me. I think that it's worth 6 million, or I think that it could be up to 6 million. I think that's fair. But this one that's at 7 million, that's I don't think that's fair. And it could be a huge gap. It could be one is at 5 million and one is at 7 million. That could be the response on the proposal. And it could be a huge gap between them. And one could be at 10 million even, you know. One can say, hey, I want to be 10 million. The other one is at 6 million. Cool. We can go ahead and give you that 6 million. That's what we thought it was going to be anyway. Or it may be even a little higher. But okay, cool. We can go with that. Right. And so they can do this as long as they got a fair, or they believe they got a fair price. But one of those prices could be ridiculous. It could be ridiculous. I feel like the part that's missing here is the contractors are not in communication enough with contracting officers who have opportunities. Like if I know I have a cleaning company, a small business cleaning company, and I'm a SDVOSB, and I have interactions with a contracting officer, just me, I'm thinking, hey, I have a cleaning company and maybe another cleaning company that I know, maybe same kind of set aside, SDVOSB. Maybe I'm like, hey, I have a contracting officer that I just met. Me and you both should approach them and say, hey, any kind of cleaning things, let us two know, and we could be your rule of two. You never have to go public. Help us out. Like we're trying, your job should be to help small businesses. And as long as we offer a fair price and we're capable, we should be able to get those contracts without them even going to sam.gov. I think that once it gets to sam.gov, I think that that's when people have the most issues, because they're now competing with the whole market. Who knows how many people might submit a bid? Maybe nobody, but there could be a lot of people who submit a bid for that. But the simplified acquisition, that is the win. The rule of two, that is the win. So, also, please smash the like button. And by the way, I do appreciate y'all being on here with me because I know this is late and I just was thinking about this thing. And I'm like, this class was amazing. And for anybody who wants to get into government contracts, the rule of two, the rule of two is an amazing opportunity. Also, did y'all know that a large company, so you're looked at as a small business based off of your NAICS code, right? So your NAICS code will dictate either how much money you can make in a 3-year time frame before you move out of the small business spectrum. It could be based off of so based off your NAICS code, maybe how many employees you have that work for your company under that NAICS code could move you out of what's considered being a small business. But let's say Google. Let's say Google. Google may be in a certain space, internet stuff, things like that, and they may be considered a large company based off of what they do on the technology side, right? But if Google was to go into, let's say, corporate cleaning or something like that, and they're going to say, "Hey, we want to set up a um, a segment to go after government contracts for cleaning contracts." That's not their main thing. And we all know Google is huge in the technology space. But they could say, hey, you know what? We're going to set up a small cell of a small little group of people to go after government contracts for cleaning only. That NAICS code would be an additional NAICS code from what they normally do. And under that new NAICS code, they may not have that many people working under it, or they may not have made any revenue for the last 3 years. So they could actually qualify under the small business set aside, be considered a small business, and go after those small, go after those contracts before they would grow too large. So they could be your competition going after a contract. I think that's incredibly interesting. I think that's super interesting because I had no idea that Google, Amazon, Apple couldn't be considered small businesses based off of a NAICS code. I didn't know that. I've learned so much in this class, but I really, really need to drive home the rule of two, but not just for you guys. No, well, I don't know who's watching, but not just for people aspiring to be government contractors. I need to drive this home, this idea home to government contracting officers because they could use these set asides just because they work for, say, Department of Labor doesn't mean they can't use a woman-owned small business set aside. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain things that women-owned small businesses have to be. They can only use it in certain spaces where women are underserved in certain capacities. But like, say, like SDVOSB, there's no reason the Department of Labor can't use SDVOSB. They just may not do it because nobody is telling them to do it. And if you're going to be a contractor, you need to be connecting with contracting officers and maybe two of y'all who are in the same space. Two women owned small businesses. You got your self-certified or your certified woman-owned small business, whatever. You and your homegirl need to approach a contracting officer and say, "Hey, look, we can do construct. I think they can do construction. I'm sure women-owned small businesses can do construction. I'm almost sure. I'm not, but find out whatever it is that you can use that set aside for, whatever those different categories are, and say, hey, look." Contracting officer, me and this other woman, we're women-owned small businesses, and we can handle a contract up to $7.5 million without an 8A certification. You don't need an 8A certification to get up to $7.5 million on a contract. You can do that, right? So long as you're capable and stuff like that, of course, but you can make that a simplified acquisition where they don't even have to compete that on the general market. You and another one of your business associates who also fall into the same bucket as you, maybe y'all do staffing for dental or something like hospitals, clinics, whatever it is, and your payroll is going to be $5 million or something like that a year. That's fine. You can get that contract simplified. You and another staffing small business can get that. Even if it's just total small business, you can have them set it aside. You can say, hey, contracting officer, work with me here. I have a small business. I know you don't typically use woman-owned small business or total small business or SDVOSB, but you can. They're not restricted from using it, but there has to be some kind of middle ground where they're being approached or they're meeting with you to get this thing accomplished. Yeah. So, if anything, you should smash the like button for the rule of two. Smash the like button for the rule of two. Now, the rule of three. Now, if it's three of you guys, you got three construction companies that are small businesses. Y'all three can approach a contracting officer and say, hey, if you have anything, it's three of us. We have our own businesses and we would like to be we would like to use the rule of three. So if you have anything in this area, in this spectrum, please come to us first and allow us to submit a bid individually. And then you decide which one of us you want to go with, right? Now, in that situation, they do not have to be certain that the price was fair. You know what? The rule of two and the rule of three are just kind of amazing situations to even like. That's crazy. Which would be like three or more, right? Because it don't have to just be three. I don't think it could just be three or more. So three or more, they don't have to, contract officers don't have to be certain that the price was fair. But with two, they need to be certain that the price was fair. So one could be completely preposterous, ridiculous, don't make no sense. And then the other one could just be fair. And as long as that's the case, they don't have to compete it. They can choose one. Now, if they use a rule of two and neither of the prices are deemed fair, well, then they have to compete it. Anyway, I'm going to run down, grab some water. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. On the way. Coming up the stairs. Right. I'm back. All right. Hello. So they both have their advantages, but at the end of the day, the contracting officer still will need, at least if you only have two, they still would need to compete it if neither one of the prices are fair. So make sure that one of the prices is fair. Make sure your price is fair. Hold on, let me for this. So yeah, just make sure your price is fair. And I don't know, like I'm looking at my phone, right? Like over here on this phone, and for whatever reason, I look skinny, like slim on this video. Like it has me like kind of skinny. I don't know, does it look like that on your side? Now on this, it don't look like that because I'm live and it looks fine. But on this side, I'm using my Android. I don't know, using the front of it. Ain't used to using it. But yeah, so rule of two, rule of two, and the rule of three. Man, that rule of three is a game changer too. Cause like if it's the rule of three, then they don't have to check to see if the price is fair. That's crazy. That's crazy. So basically, you need to get with other businesses, at least one other business that does something similar to what you do, and you need to be approaching government contracting officers to be their small businesses that they can work with to get contracts through simple acquisition. That's what you got to do. I mean, that's the easiest way. It makes it easier for them. It's easier for them. They don't got to go through all the work of getting a job posted or contract posted on USA. I mean, on sam.gov. They got to go through all of that. You can help them out, and you need to, kind of like pose it that way. Hey, I'm here. Hey, use me. Do you know what? Do you know about the rule of two? Do you know about the rule of three? Oh, you do. Well, guess what? Um, I met somebody else who does the same thing I do. We have this. We can qualify for the same set aside. Why don't you use us if you need a small business, and we'll submit a proposal. We'll both submit a proposal, an individual proposal. I don't know what they're gonna submit. They don't know what I'm gonna submit. Let us be your go-to before you put anything out. Competed to us. Now, different agencies have different. They have different benchmarks that they try to hit. Like, so, um, like say GSA. I don't know what GSA targets, but I know they do a lot of work with 8As, right? So GSA may be trying to get a certain quota for 8As. 8As just make it easier for them to move contracts anyway. That's also why they like working with 8As, because it makes it a lot easier for them to get large amounts of money awarded to small businesses. Makes it a lot easier for them. But up to 7.5 million, you don't need an 8A. You, as long as it's a commercial product, right? It's like if you need to sell $5 million worth of laptops, you can do that through simplified acquisition. Easy, easy work. Well, I ain't gonna say easy because it's gonna depend on like your ability to find people who need to contract in offices and stuff like that. But you can make it easy for them to move these contracts. You can make it easy. So that's what makes me look at this like, yo, what? Like, think about it. I'm SDVOSB, USDVOSB, or we're just both small businesses. We don't even have to be SDVOSB. We're just both total small business, right? And there's a contract to purchase fire trucks for, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a for CBP, Customs and Border Protection, or whatever. Right? That's a huge organization. They might need some fire trucks. They might need $4 million in fire trucks. And when I say $4 million in fire trucks, maybe the fire trucks cost you $3 million, and you're gonna sell them to them for $4 million. That can be a simplified acquisition. You can make $1 million on the cool through simplified acquisition using the rule of only two. Because maybe one of y'all say I can sell them to y'all for 4.5 million. The other one say I can sell them to you for 4.2 million. And as long as they feel like that's a fair price, that's a simplified acquisition. They don't even have, it never has to make it the USA. I mean, the sam.gov, they can go ahead and award you that contract. They don't look at that as a lot of money. You're talking about an organization that's dealing in the trillions of dollars. So 7.5 million is not a lot of money. They don't want to take all day trying to move that around. They don't want to take all day trying to buy that product or service. That's not a lot of money. It's not a lot. It's a lot of money to us. It's a lot of money to us. I would love $7.5 million. I would love $1 million. I would love 500,000. But in the eyes of the government, that's not a lot of money. That's nothing. That ain't nothing. Okay, so they want to make it. They want to move that money easy. They want to make it easy. Come on, man. They got billions and billions and trillions of dollars to spend. They don't have a lot of time to be playing around with no $4-5 million. That ain't no. They don't want to have to compete that on the market for real. Come on, man, help me out. I mean, and if they not thinking that way, it's your job to help them think that way. If they're not, and contracting officers, if you're watching this and you're thinking that you're not thinking that way, you need to be thinking that way. Okay, pair up with some small businesses and help the small businesses out, and they'll help you move those contracts. And you need to pose it that same way. You need to pose it that same way. Class, what I learned, everybody, if you plan on doing government contracts, you need to take you a FAR class, right? And maybe it's something that me and some of my people can help put together, like a little FAR quick guide or whatever like that, to kind of like cover some things. That'd be pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting thought. Um, but yeah, I think everybody needs yeah. Telling you, it was fascinating. Learned a lot. Okay, and it definitely could help you prepare a strategy on how you're going to go into business, and how you're going to go after government contracts. So a lot of people want to start businesses, or who started businesses, and they have no idea how to get a contract on sam.gov, or a micro contract in person. And there's plenty of reason as to why not, right? Why it is difficult, but or why you may not know what you're doing, and that's why you go through courses and stuff like that, to learn about government contracts. But this is a whole separate way where you don't actually go on SAM. You circumvent SAM and go, and kind of just be on the books. That's why they do the thing they call RFIs, recursive information. The RFI is like a variation of that. They're trying to find Contracting officers are trying to find interested businesses that are capable of completing the contract. So you also still need to be capable now. You got to be capable. Don't be trying to take on a contract and you don't know what you're doing. Don't do that. I mean, I know some of y'all gonna do that and don't care. I get it. But some of y'all know. You don't know what you're doing. You're not going to be able to accomplish that contract. All right, you got a contract for $4.5 million to um, supply something for the Department of the Navy, and you don't know what you're doing. Come on, don't waste some people money and time. You don't know what you're doing. All right, it's some things that it's okay. Find you something you can do. Find you something you do know how to take care of. Okay, you don't know nothing about handling top secret material. You don't know nothing about it. Stop playing. Don't do it. Okay, don't do it. Don't tell them people you know how to dispose of top secret documents, and you're just gonna throw it in the trash. You're gonna release national secrets. Don't do it. Okay? Don't just clean the bathrooms. All right? And most of y'all probably don't really know how to commercially clean. Commercial cleaning is not the same cleaning that you straighten up around your house. It's not the same. It's just not. Okay? Okay? You have never tried to clean 200 dorm rooms before. You just ain't never tried to do that before. Okay? You think, oh, I can run in there and vacuum up real quick, man, but 200 rooms, no 200 rooms gonna take you and your two-person crew, I don't know how long, okay? Okay? And the people gonna come behind you and say, this ain't good. No, this needs to finish being cleaned. And you're gonna go back and back and back. Trust me, you don't know what you're doing, all right? It's not as simple. Doing the business side is not as simple as you may think it is. You still got to run a business. So you need to be capable. So that's why you create a capability statement and you show these reasons in your proposal as to why you're capable. Or when you're approaching these contracting officers and you're listing your NAICS codes and stuff like that, you say, hey, I am capable of doing these things. These are the companies I've worked with or for. These are some of the contracts and types that I've experienced in. And so when they have an opportunity that fits your thing, they can reach out to you. But I still feel like you should be reaching out to them every so often. Like, find you some and bang their line. Hey, you got anything like this? Let me know. Hey, you got anything like? Let me. Hey. All right. Stay ready. Build some relationships. Build some relationships. Let me see. All right, hold on. Okay. Reginald says, "Seen a long time no see." That's right, man. That's right. I've been grinding, bro. I didn't did so many things. All things Princess says. Any attempts for small business to get a government contract? Yes, yes. Pair up with another government contractor who does something similar to what you do. Go on sam.gov or go to some of these contract officer events. Small Business Administration has some different things where they have mixers and they have information as to like for different like contractors and stuff, contract officers and stuff like that. But find you like say let's say you have a business where you teach um, retirement planning. There may be a government contract where they want you to do a retirement class and they may want your retirement class to be geared towards federal retirement or something like that. But there may be a class where you teach it every month, or you have to maybe in your contract you're required to offer it once a month, and they're gonna pay you a certain amount of money. Maybe it's 80,000, right? And you have to have this class once a month, which is probably going to require it to be virtual. They may require you to come in sometimes, maybe do one in person and the rest virtual. Maybe it's for people who are getting ready to go into retirement and it's something they got to have signed off, whatever it is. But they'll pay you to conduct these classes, but it's two of you who do this kind of thing and y'all have separate companies, and y'all could approach that contracting officer and say, hey, listen, I know y'all have a person who does this, or maybe y'all don't even have somebody who does this, but my company does this. I know about federal retirements. I can create a PowerPoint presentation, a slide, whatever. And me and this other person, we both teach this kind of thing. We're capable. We know what we're talking about. We can add other information you might be interested in us adding in, and we can create this and do that. Um, and so, if you have any opportunities like that, you could use the rule of two. Say, hey, contract officer, do you know the rule of two? Because me and a friend of mine were both women-owned small businesses, veteran-owned, disabled veteran-owned small businesses. We're both total small businesses, whatever it is. Can you use that set aside and just contact us because we're still trying to grow our companies, but we're capable of doing this? And to me, I think that will be the game changer. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So the rule of two, now the rule of three, and if it's three of y'all and y'all teach budgeting or something like that, retirement planning, if y'all got three of y'all who teach that, and um, then now it doesn't even have to be a fair price because whatever the price is with the rule of two that you guys said, right? So like you say, okay, so the government was or the country officer said, okay, well, submit me a proposal on your retirement planning um, process. Like, if you teach retirement planning, submit me a proposal, right? And you got two of y'all, and you're both total small businesses. And so you say, all right, cool. So you submit your proposal by next week, and they submit their proposal at the same time. And so yours comes back. You say, okay, for 12 months, I charge $10,000 a month. That's $120,000. The other person says, hey, I charge um, I charge let's say $7,000 a month, right? So it's 84,000. So you got 84,000 versus 100,000. So in your 84, or in whichever one who's charging 84,000, they have this, and this, right? That they say, hey, I could do this as part of my course. And the other person says, hey, for the 120,000, I do this, and this, and this. I have way more stuff at the $120,000 mark. The contracting officer can say, well, I really like what they're offering at the $120,000 mark. That's more closely related to what I'm looking for. But let me also now go onto the market and do some market research to see what this kind of opportunity should cost. And they go into the market and say, oh, well, on average, this kind of service would be 125,000, or maybe it's 115,000. That's reasonably a fair price, and they may still go with the 120,000. These is just examples, of course. I'm being hypothetical. This is all hypotheticals. I have no idea what the numbers are really like, but yeah. So there you have it. All right. Could y'all please smash that like button for your boy? Smash the like button if you have not hit the like button yet. Hit the like button. I'm gonna definitely try to be on here more often as far as doing lives and stuff like that. I mean, I done cleaned up my little studio room. I keep doing that when I hit. Yeah, I keep doing that by accident. But I cleaned up my little studio room. I got a lot of space in here, and I haven't really been in here in a while. I probably need to adjust these lighting things around here and stuff. I only got one light over here and that one up there. It was super dark in here without this light, so I had to turn it on with nice little shadow. But I'm in here, and it's comfortable. Like it's comfortable. I'm using my phone, one of my phones. Yeah. So, but I think we could definitely have like these conversations, like just to sit in here and talk. I wish I could sit in here and talk all night with y'all, but I ain't gonna be able to do that. Ain't gonna be able to do that. All right, but Um, if you guys got any more questions about government contracts, things like that, trucking, real estate, education, careers, AI. By the way, I don't know if y'all saw it, but I uploaded an AI. I called it a short film. It really wasn't a short film, but that's what I called it, right? And people was like, "Yo, you should have had more of a storyline." It's not that. It's I just put some scenes together, but I wasn't telling a story or nothing. It was really just to show how good AI is right now, and so it was just really kind of that. But it's called AI Vampires. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it was really just to show it, right? But AI is going to change a lot of things. AI can absolutely help you write your proposal. Now, one thing was we were trying to look up the answers in the FAR class, in the class that I was just in, because we had a midterm final exam, we had homework. It was crazy. Okay, so in that class though, I thought that excuse me, a couple of us were looking up answers as a group, and we're like, well, let's just ask AI, right? Let's just ask Chat GPT or whatever, and it wasn't giving us the exact answer. Like it would be like, hey, where in the FAR is this that relates to this statement? And it would give us, because it wasn't just me, it was giving several of us answers that weren't accurate. It wasn't even that it wasn't accurate, it didn't exist. It'd be like far part this subsection this C or 2C or something like that. And you'll go there to that, but it'll only go to B. C don't exist. But it'll put like a new, it would like hallucinate. They call it hallucinations or something. But it'll like hallucinate that C goes into this, but C doesn't exist. Do you know how crazy it would make you look if you're supposed to answer number three, and you're telling your team, oh, it should be here in this section because that's what AI says, and then y'all all go look at that section, and it's not there, and it's like, wait, what? And so then somebody else look it up and like, this ain't right. I don't know. And then when we go look it up in the course material, we can see the exact answer. But C or two or three, that number when you go to that part of the FAR it's not really there. It ain't really there. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Remember to tell contract officers use the rule of two. Use the rule of two and come there with your associate or whoever it is and try to use that rule of two. Hey, you need somebody who can help do plumbing work around here? You need somebody who can, I mean, usually they have like a plumber on staff or something, like not staff, but like a contract with a plumber. But sometimes they may have emergency work or something new happens that's not covered in the contract that they have with their typical maintenance person. So they create a new special contract for a special kind of assignment. And you can say, hey man, you got anything like plumbing, anything like that go wrong that's not covered in your other one? I got another company. They also can get plumbing work done. Let me know. And you don't have to be a plumber to offer plumbing services. You just have to know how to like I haven't I've done I haven't done plumbing work myself, but I've hired plumbers to help me with some of my construction projects. So I know enough to be able to speak to the plumbers who I would subcontract to do the actual work or something. And you can't do all of these things all the time, but I have a background and a knowledge base in certain things where I can bring in certain specialties to do a job, which may not be me necessarily doing the job, but I would be still kind of like project managing it. But it's all sorts of things that you can do. I just kind of want to come on here and kind of give you guys like an idea of some things or whatever. And if you want to speak to me about like contracts and stuff like that, um, send me an email. Let's get on a consult, something like that. Send me an email to um, casino is the name at Gmail, and let's chop it up. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino is the Name. If you find any value in this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now I gotta turn this off.